Greg McCullough from the Piffles podcast joins us. Now, Greg, we talk wrestling, we talk football. Let's talk curling. In your mind, who is the greatest Canadian men's curling skip of all time? Do you have one?
It's hard to diminish what Gushu's done. He's been amazing in his career. But you got to think, like, there's a lot of guys. You got Russ Howard out there. You've got Kevin Martin. Like that 90s run, like, they were trading Briars back and forth. You didn't have a dominant team, but Kevin Martin, you got Cooey. You've got so many great Canadian men curlers. It's hard to choose. Like, those Europeans had to catch up, and they've caught up. Those Europeans are really good now.
I would love to. This would be more of an insider question. Who was the greatest Canadian men's curling skip that had the most fun in the patch after a game of all time? That's the person. That's who I really want to know. Who was leading the charge when it came to... Oh, okay, Kevin Martin. All right, Kevin Martin.
Yeah,
I'm voting for Kevin Martin.
That's an easy one. That's Kevin Martin.
Okay. All right, Kevin Martin.
If you want to talk leads, it's Benny Hebert.
Okay, well, listen. But he wasn't a skip, he's a lead. Now, if we went,
that's what I said.
Skip, second, third. Yeah, all right. Greg, on the podcast, we have everybody, we've talked the Montreal game into oblivion, it seems, but let's just resurrect it for a sec, because I want to get your thoughts. I was of the opinion, unpopular, I get, for a lot of people that listen, that even with Sales and with Devon Campbell, I still think with how Montreal played last week, they would have come away with a win regardless. What do you think?
I think it would have been tighter than the game in Montreal, but I disagree. Because everyone wants to point that Sales and Campbell were out, and obviously that's a big one. But you also have to remember, we were also on our third-string safety as well. And that's not nothing against Cozy Onyeka, but when you're missing two starting corners, your starting safety in Lacombo and your backup safety in Jackson Ford, like it was real, like, Band-Aid brigade back there in that defensive backfield. Something had to give, and unfortunately, it was usually Krafala Exume that was the one falling all over himself.
No one can catch the Riders this weekend, but Greg, when you look at this schedule, there could be chaos depending on how these games play out and how the playoff picture is shaping up. Because right now, as it stands, you've got the BC Lions in the crossover. You've got, like, there is everything. So we'll go through the games, and I don't know if you see it like me. As a Rider fan who was overconfident last week, the only thing that will make me feel better is if Montreal goes into Toronto tonight and lays an absolute beating on the Argos. So I go, oh, okay, Montreal's healthy. They're getting it together. They're on the rise. Last week wasn't a fluke. Don't go in there and drop a stinker to the Argos and then make last week look even worse.
Even good teams have bad games. And that's what and I understand we're in Rider Nation where the highs are the highest and the lows are the lowest, but good teams will have bad games. Calgary has lost to Ottawa this year. So people need to realize any given night, another team can beat another team. The thing about last week that upset me the most, more than that Rider loss, was the fact that Edmonton lost to Toronto their last minute, because there was a shot where Winnipeg, BC, and Edmonton were all going to be tied. And that would really put the pressure on the Bombers.
So tonight, there will be no Nick Arbuckle. Jarrett Daggy's getting the start for the Argos. McLeod Bethel-Thompson once again for Montreal. And Toronto has been such a mystery this year of, well, they can score a million points at times. They don't play a lot of defense. But if Montreal comes in looking like they did last week here at Mosaic, I got to take the Alouettes tonight, even in Toronto, in front of the 6,000 fans they'll have at the game.
Yeah, I think the Owls are the safe play on this one. Like, what is Jared Daggy? Yeah, he got he drove the field last second, sure, but his body of work in the CFL so far in Edmonton and a little bit of makeup work in Toronto hasn't shown me that he's the next star in this league. So I think it's with that defense in Montreal, now that they're getting healthy, and now that the offense looks like it's finding itself under McLeod Bethel-Thompson again, I think the Argos are in for a world of pain.
Yeah, it could be a long night for that Argo defense if Montreal comes out clicking and firing, and MBT's a gunslinger. Greg from the Piffles podcast joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. He's on the road, traveling the highways of Saskatchewan, BC at Calgary. To me, Vernon Adams Jr. hasn't played great the last couple of games. They won one, they lost one. Some of the VA cracks were kind of starting to show ever since that Rider game. Who's this game more important for? Now, keep in mind, Calgary's ahead of them in the standings, but I think there's more pressure on the Stampeders to play well tonight.
Oh, 100%. The Stamps are coming off a bye week. They lost going into the bye week, so they need to win to try to catch Saskatchewan, obviously. So because they're fighting for that home playoff game for the West Final as well. Chances are, yes, no matter what happens, Saskatchewan and knock on wood, and Calgary are both going to be home playoff games, but that West Final is going to be huge because come playoffs, do you really want to play BC now that they're finding themselves? Do you really want to play Bombers that can know how to win, or even the Elks that are looking like they could beat anyone in a one-game playoff? It's like the West is tighter than the standings look.
Nathan Rourke has got his game back to where it kind of needs to be. Now, is it 2022 for him? I don't know. But he doesn't look to be the problem with the BC Lions. It's that defense, and you can't trust them. You can't trust them. Ken, do you think that Nathan Rourke can outscore the defense's problems tonight in Calgary? With arguably, if the Riders have the number one defense, I would say the Stampeder defense is 1A as well.
The BC's defense is dependent on their defensive line pressure. Like, when that defense looks really bad is when they're not getting sacks. And last week, Matthew Betts looked a lot better than he has in the last couple of weeks. So, but the thing is, he's playing against VA, who's probably the best running quarterback on the run for being able to sling it while he's moving. So I don't think it's going to be a great night for BC's defense tonight.
Winnipeg's in Ottawa. I said this to Glenn Suter yesterday. I know there's 5 games left. A lot of football to be played. To me, if I'm a Bomber and a Bomber fan, as I'm now a Bomber apologist on this show, this is must-win territory because now we're in a dogfight for even third place. And I know you guys must love that, but I didn't expect this. I didn't expect the Bombers to be 6 wins and fighting for air.
I can't remember what every year before the season begins, we make our predictions on where everyone's going to end up. Needless to say, we all had Calgary dead last in the West. Obviously, everyone had that one wrong. But I had Winnipeg in third, but I expected BC to be better and Edmonton to be better. The Bombers are old. That's the problem. They've kept that core together so long. When you're letting Kenny Lawler go for nothing, they're paying too many guys, and they have no backup for Claros. Claros has proven that hit that he took has knocked him out now for 2 games. I don't want to say it was soft, but that shouldn't knock a guy out that long. So they had no backup for him, and everyone knows Trevor can't throw the ball. You could tell on the sideline last week, Winnipeg's offense was getting upset by how bad they were performing. They're just poorly constructed this year. at home when they're hosting the Grey Cup.
Yeah. You kind of forget that it's in Winnipeg. Frustrating. There's shots of whenever Brady Oliveira has his helmet off, and you can just see it on his face. You can see the frustration and the anger. And there's a heart and soul passion guy. Like, if it'd be like, he's got to go to O'Shea and just be like, just give me the rock 35 times a game. If he can't throw, put it on my shoulders, because I'll die trying. That's what I love about Brady Oliveira. That's why I like Nick Dembski. I loved him as a rider. I love him because he's all passion. He's all heart. Those two guys seem like sometimes they're the only guys out there with heart that are playing for the Bombers. Not that Willie Jefferson and that defense at times doing that, but they've also kind of lost it as well. With Ottawa, Drew Brown will be the starter tonight. And with Ottawa, another team you can't trust. You don't know what you're going to get. And so Edmonton at Hamilton. You had mentioned earlier, and I thought even before last week's loss to Montreal, the Edmonton Elks game after the bye for the Riders could be very dangerous because the Elks are playing good football. And you mentioned in just a one-gamer, the Elks, with that run game and that return game, it looks like, Greg, they can do just enough to beat you with a little sprinkle of Jesus and a little spinorama.
Well, and that's it. Like, Cody is a gamer. Like, when the stakes are the biggest, he has his best games. So I can't count him out. Rankin is a beast this year. Their defense has some holes, but Tyrell Ford's playing very well back there. He's finally earning a bit of that paycheck they gave him this year. So in a one-game playoff, the Elks actually kind of scare me more than the Bombers do.
Yes, and for the simple fact is because that run game, it's a two-headed and sometimes three-headed monster when you've got Rankin, and then you've got Leak, who's not only on the specials, but he's also the spell back to be like, oh, a little change of pace here, here's some fresh legs. And I wasn't convinced until how they beat the Stamps in the Labor Day rematch. Now, keep in mind that the Stamps had some injuries, but the Elks looked good and complete, and that we hadn't seen. Could you imagine, Greg? What if Ed Hervey and his ego had Cody Fajardo as the starter from the start of the year? Could you imagine what the standings could look like right now?
They'd easily be in third. Easily be in third right now. Because they're only one game out of third right now, so they'd probably give him at least 2 more wins.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like 2 or 3 more wins. Like they would be like about an 8-win team right now, and like nipping at the heels. And the Stamps could be there too, and the Riders. Like nobody's catching the Riders this weekend, but it sure can make a mess of what the playoff picture could be. Curtis, do we have that there? The playoffs. If the playoffs were to start today, so the scenario would be. Let's put this up here. Are the Bombers still in that third spot? The Bombers would have to travel to Calgary, I believe. And then BC would have to go to Montreal. I think that's how it would shake down. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, so if the playoffs were to start today, in the West, the Bombers would go to Calgary. And, Greg, the Stamps have beaten the Bombers. No, pardon me. No, that's right. Yeah, the Stamps have beaten the Bombers 3 times. Could they make it 4?
It's hard to beat a team 4 times, and you also got to remember. You also got to remember the Bombers going to Calgary and then coming to Regina was the 2019 run. So a little history repeating itself.
Okay, and then over in the East, the BC Lions hold down the crossover at the moment. They would have to go to Montreal to take on the Alouettes. Tough place to play. Even if BC is playing well, that crossover team sometimes doesn't do well when they do go. And then Hamilton would be waiting for the East final. Greg, do the Hamilton Ticats make you as nervous as they make me? Although they are in first place, it is the East Division, and they can be shaky at times.
They are, for a first place team of their division, they are very inconsistent.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, and you look at their weapons they have on offense. Obviously, Kenny Lawler, but Levi Mitchell. Chandre Smith has had a breakout season. Like, you barely talk about Tim White, and he's on that team. Greg Bell, they finally found their running game. For some reason, they were avoiding a running game at the first half of this season, especially those games against the Riders. It's like they've got the talent, and they got a bunch of younger receivers too that can put up some yards. But it's just they're not blowing the doors off anyone unless it's Winnipeg, which I do enjoy watching.
It was announced earlier this week that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have filed paperwork, and this is what blows my mind. They filed the tailgating paperwork with the proper people and authorities and whoever else that the government needs to know or say yes or no to tailgating at Mosaic Stadium. What do you think? I'm surprised we don't have it yet, but if it's coming, I'm all in.
It's long overdue. It's one of those things where, like, when we do the Banjo Bowl bus at Piffles, like, Winnipeg has a bunch of tailgating spots around Princess Auto Stadium. Calgary's got a decent tailgate. Montreal, they tailgate. Edmonton's got a big tailgating scene. So it's a thing that Rider fans go to other stadiums and go in and enjoy it, and we can't have it here. And it's something that they could do in conjunction with Party in the Park. I heard you guys earlier talking about it. Several stadiums in the States, like I went to watch the Patriots play Minnesota a few years ago, and they had tailgating, but you still had and I wouldn't just call it a family fun area, but that's what it was. They had inflatables, they had their own little party thing that you could go and enjoy that as well, but you still have your tailgating area. Like, you don't have to do one or the other. You can do both.
Yeah. If outside of Party in the Park and that fence that they put up right there, if beyond that fence, let's say Party in the Park doesn't change one bit. There's still the stages and the happy hour beer and all that. And on the other side of that are people with motorhomes, campers, trucks, barbecues, lawn chairs. As I mentioned yesterday, the dude in the 87 Honda Civic with the windows down and a bunch of tall boys. Okay, sure, whatever. I guess that's tailgating. That won't take away. That will just add to, because I know, Greg, here in Calgary at the game a few weeks ago when I went, a lot of the tailgates were being run by Saskatchewan Roughrider fans that live in Calgary because they all had Rider gear on. And they normally rep Stamps gear when the Riders aren't there, but all it does, and you know this, it creates camaraderie amongst the fans, and it really makes it more of a party atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, it adds the atmosphere. And you're right, it does help with camaraderie. You're going around, go Riders. When we go to the Winnipeg ones, they boo us. I say it's Matt Nichols behind me. It's fun. You just go and do that kind of stuff. But it's something you do because, yeah, like you make friends, you make companions. Like, I know a bunch of Bomber fans that are not bad. They're still Bomber fans. They have bad taste, but they're nice people. And because of those tailgates, and you see, and next time we come around, we see them again. And you just it creates a community not just for the team, but for the CFL in general.
Whatever hurdles it takes, if you and I have to go testify at some hearing, I don't know how credible of a witness I am. There's things probably don't ask me about certain parts of my life, but I'll say whatever I need to. And I'm not above, listen, I get slid something on the side, I'll sing like a canary. You tell me that, I'm all good. I'll even not wear a hoodie that day if we got all to look respectable, but I'm all in. I'm all in. And even next year, if they had to we're going to do a pilot program. Like, we're going to do 3 games out of the 10, like maybe Labor Day, just kind of test it out, get the feet under. I'm okay with that too. If you got to graduate it in, if people are like, well, I don't know about diving in here, all 10 toes in the pool, even if you got to slowly bring it in, graduate it, and get her going, I think this week is something good. Hey, thanks for doing this. Where's your final destination today? Where are you driving to, or where are you driving from?
I'm heading home. I was in Big River earlier today, so you're catching me on my long drive home.
And how long is the drive from Big River back to Regina?
Just shy of 5 hours.
Ooh.
Had a meeting at 1 o'clock. So.
Okay, so if you were running Big River's tourism social media account, give us a couple of highlights before we let you go as to why we should all visit Big River, Saskatchewan.
They've got a big river and a bunch of trees. That's all I basically saw. And the hospital.
Short and sweet, right? Attention spans these days. All right. Safe travels. Go with you, it's everybody but the Bombers. All right. So, and then let's catch up and do this again. It's Greg McCullough from the Piffles podcast joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline here